Coming up, students, staff, and community members are still shaken after a bus crash yesterday injured several students and the bus driver in Magoffin County. And abortion access was argued before the state's highest court today. What happened both inside and outside the courtroom coming up.
Plus, showers are pushing back out of the region, leaving just chilly weather in their wake. The latest on just how cold it gets coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
11 students injured in yesterday's school bus crash in Magoffin County have been released from the hospital. The remaining students and the bus driver are still being treated. School leaders have not given details about the conditions of those still hospitalized. All 18 students on board, as well as the driver, were taken to the hospital yesterday morning after their bus went off the road and landed on its side down an embankment. As WYMT's Olivia Calfee reports, school officials say they are trying to support the students and families.
Magoffin County school employees say Monday was scary, a day filled with concern.
It was a solemn atmosphere. We had our students and our staff, they were worried about their classmates and they were worried about their students, and it was just sort of this overwhelming support that they had for their classmates, for their students, about their well-being and just wanting to know that they were okay.
Tuesday, the school announced that as of now, 11 of the 19 injured were treated and released from the hospital. Barry Adkins, the school system psychologist, says they have resources available for any student if they need emotional support.
The students who need more assistance in any way, if their parents want to talk, if they want to talk, whether at school or they want to have just some kind of communication, we're there. I mean, that's what we're going to do, and we'll do that going forward.
Adkins says outside counseling agencies are also available if additional help is needed. Both Adkins and Bailey say Tuesday was hopeful, thanks to the support the system has received from many surrounding areas. Wearing maroon for Magoffin County.
Just getting on social media this morning, and there were posts on my timeline that schools that I have never heard of. I don't know where they are, don't know if they're in the state of Kentucky or if they're somewhere else in the nation, but just group shots of kids who are wearing maroon, just that people are thinking about our kids and thinking about our community the way we think about them. So we're thankful for their support.
In Magoffin County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
Certainly good to see folks in Magoffin County and across the region wearing maroon to support Magoffin County schools today. I tried to wear a tie with a little maroon in it. Well, a Floyd County deputy injured during the Allen shooting on June 30th underwent surgery to amputate a leg yesterday. Floyd County Sheriff's Deputy Darren Lawson's fiance shared this photo of him post-surgery on social media saying, quote, "This decision was not made lightly, and ultimately this is where we are." The post says Lawson will have to undergo an additional hospital stay, rehab stay, and physical therapy, but he will begin working with the prosthetic team soon. Lawson was one of several officers injured during that ambush. Captain Ralph Frazier, Deputy William Petrie, Officer Jacob Chaffins, and K-9 Officer Drago were all killed.
Weather-wise, it's a cool one outside tonight as we continue to watch temperatures fall through the 40s. Well, at least stay steady in the 40s. That's where they've been throughout the day. Here's the readings from our high temperatures today, and you'll recognize them because it's not far from where we are now. Low to mid-40s all throughout the region. Our warm spot today, Middlesboro got to 46. Cool spot, well, our WISE sensor is experiencing a couple of issues, but 42, our cool spot there up in the Big Sandy, and same thing in Jackson, and we haven't moved a whole lot. In fact, we're still there. The clouds preventing us from cooling off even as the sun sets out there. The good news, the last of our showers have pushed on out of the region and backing on out. You look out to the east, that's where all the major action is, but out to the west, it's all quiet. And the quiet weather will build into the region as we head over the next couple of days. Mid-30s out there tonight, mostly cloudy and cold. And if we see a couple of breaks in the clouds, that'll help it get a little cooler out there. But for the most part, we should stay dry. Details coming up on when we return to some sunshine in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Abortion access was debated at the state capitol today. The Kentucky Supreme Court heard arguments over if a right to an abortion is protected in the state constitution. WYMT's Phil Pendleton listened in and has more on what took place.
As the state Supreme Court was hearing arguments, a protest was taking place inside the Capitol. Those protesters wanting the state Supreme Court to verify that abortion rights are constitutional. Of course, this all follows a ruling from the nation's highest court last summer. Protesters want abortion access restored. They yelled and chanted for more than an hour while attorneys argued their cases before the justices. The issue came about when a 2019 law took effect right after the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a decision giving the abortion question back to the states. The question is if the Kentucky state constitution protects a right to abortion.
At what point in pregnancy does the state's interest in protecting potential fetal life become compelling enough to outweigh an individual's rights to make their own determinations about their bodies and about their pregnancies?
They're asking this court to hold that our Constitution enshrines a right to abortion for any reason and no matter the circumstances. The Attorney General respectfully urges the court not to go down that path and not to create the Kentucky version of Roe versus Wade.
This is an issue that will likely get more debate. It was stated today that Indiana has already revised their abortion laws to be less restrictive. It was stated today that Kentucky lawmakers have that option as well. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, we don't know when justices will decide on the issue, but most abortions are still banned in Kentucky while the High Court mulls its decision. Governor Andy Beshear announced 2 executive orders today relating to medical marijuana. The first executive order would allow qualified people suffering from one or more of 21 conditions to possess and use up to 8 ounces of medical cannabis legally purchased from a state where medical cannabis is legal, starting on January 1st, 2023. The second announced order also starts construction on a framework to regulate Delta 8 products, which contain lower amounts of THC but are legal throughout the state. The governor explained that this will allow a framework for the regulation of medical cannabis should it be legalized during the next legislative session, which begins in January.
Kentuckians of all ages are suffering from chronic conditions. Medical providers are prescribing opioids and painkillers that are not providing relief, and Kentuckians are fearful of falling into addiction. Kentuckians are leaving this state to access medical cannabis, some of them leaving this state for good to go to a place where medical cannabis is legal. They want to be able to return to the Commonwealth if they can without breaking the law.
Governor Beshear said the executive orders are not a substitute for much-needed legislation to fully legalize medical cannabis. He said he will work with lawmakers during the upcoming session to push for full legalization. We have some new information about a story we first told you about yesterday. We now know the name of the man killed in a Pulaski County crash. Police say 66-year-old Fred Haste Jr. was driving a 2000 Peterbilt semi when he lost control and collided with a 2015 Kia operated by 61-year-old Benjamin Durham III. Haste died from his injuries and Durham was transported to the Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital. Drugs and alcohol are not suspected factors in the crash. Last night, deputies from the Floyd County Sheriff's Department along with Kentucky State Police found a large amount of drugs at a home near Betsy Lane Elementary School. Inside the home, police found roughly 435 grams of crystal meth along with heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, and prescription pills. Deputies arrested 38-year-old Casey Collins of Betsy Lane during the bust. He's charged with 4 counts of illegal drug trafficking, including trafficking within 1,000 feet of a school. 3 others were also arrested on outstanding warrants at the same home. A Whitley County man is charged with murder in connection to a multi-vehicle crash in Louisville that killed 1 person and injured 2 others. An arrest report says 23-year-old Alvaro Manriquez was driving a Ford F-150 that had been registered as stolen and was speeding well over the 35 miles per hour speed limit. When he got to an intersection, police say he reportedly ran a red light and hit 5 separate vehicles. The first vehicle that was struck had the green light. The initial impact caused the death of the passenger in the vehicle and seriously injured the driver. He's facing several other charges in addition to murder. Sophia Rosing was back in court this morning in Lexington. This is video from her preliminary hearing in Fayette District Court. Rosing is facing several charges after a video reportedly showed her assaulting a black student at the University of Kentucky, and it went viral. A judge waived Rosing's case to the grand jury. There was no testimony from witnesses during the hearing today.
Well, coming up, yet more cold air continues to pour into the mountains this week. The latest breakdown ahead. Plus,
it's that time of year when wintry blues may start to creep in. How experts say you can maintain your mental health and fight seasonal depression. Plus, Kentucky Power is hosting an open house to hear from community members impacted by their plans to upgrade the electric transmission system in Floyd County.